Well, welcome everybody. Trying a couple of new things here with this setup here in the trailer. I've got the green screen. Obviously, I'm going to have to do some tweaking with that to make it work out just right in the future, but I know now what to do, I believe, for future visits. It has been quite some time, a little over a month since my last Sound Thoughts with Pastor Marvin McKenzie broadcast. And as you can imagine, we've had tons and tons of things taking place because of my wife's cancer. Our schedule has been just kind of really topsy turvy and just hasn't worked out that there's been a time where I've been free without other things going on so that I could make a visit. Looks like Saturdays are going to be back on perhaps for a while. But I am thankful for each of you that will come on and will watch this broadcast as time goes on. Sound Thoughts with Pastor Marvin McKenzie. Mentioned the cancer, so let me just give you an update on my wife's battle with cancer. Some people call it a cancer journey. I'm calling it a cancer marathon. The thing about marathons is they're difficult, hard, and at least in the case of the very first marathon, it didn't end well for the runner. Anita just finished her round 3 of what they call AC or Red Devil. It's the most aggressive cancer chemotherapy that they can use for her triple negative breast cancer. It is so it contains several or could have several negative side effects, and so far Anita's had very, very mild side effects. This Red Devil, there'll be 4 different rounds. They do them every other week for 4 rounds, and so 8 weeks by the time she's gotten through it all. And then after that, she'll start a series of 12 rounds of something called Taxol, and that's a once a week infusion or injection of chemotherapy. Injection may not be the right word because they put it in through a port, but it's once a week, and it has entirely different side effects than the AC does. And so we'll see how Anita does. Again, so far has been very mild side effects compared to what is possible. Now, this doesn't mean it's been easy by any means. It's not been easy, and lots and lots of nausea, fatigue, and just other things. Things come and go, come and go on a regular basis with it. Each day is different. And the first week, the week of the chemotherapy is kind of rough. Every day is a little bit of a different kind of a thing that she goes through. And then after about day 5, it settles down, and she'll have, 5 or 6 days that are relatively normal, other than some tired fatigue, but relatively normal. And then about the time she starts to feeling really good again, and we get over it, then it's time for her to go in for the next one. What we've discovered is that she gets feeling well enough that the drive to the chemotherapy session is challenging because you know what you're going to be doing to yourself. And, once you've had it, well, then it's just a matter of enduring and living with it and getting through the thing. But it's tough. And we have no idea what these once a week treatments are going to be like for her. Then when she finishes those, that'll be followed by 5 weeks worth. It's like 30 treatments of radiation. And again, we know nothing about that. The way the schedule is right now, as far as the doctor's offices and visits, it looks like she should be done. No surprises. Assuming there are no surprises, looks like she should be done around the 1st of December. Her birthday is December 16th, so it'd be wonderful if she was completely done by December the 16th, but we just don't know. We do want to ask for your fervent prayers. It's kind of challenging to tell. She's wearing a wig now, and they matched her hair so well with this wig that, and she's feeling well enough, at least for a short time. She can appear to feel well enough that that for those who see her, it's like nothing's going on at all. But here's the thing, that with this, there's an 80% chance that the cancer was entirely removed at surgery. In what was that, March. 80% chance that the cancer was completely removed. but there is a 20% chance that at least some stem cells escaped. That's what they called it in this. They say that they like to escape in this particular kind of cancer. And so there's a 20% chance that some of them escaped. If some of them did escape, that's the reason for the chemotherapy, is just to deal with that 20% chance. If there's some that did escape, then the chemotherapy has a 55% chance that it will eradicate and kill this cancer. There's nothing that will specifically target and kill this particular type of cancer, and so they're just hitting Anita with everything they've got, trying to do anything and everything they can to try to get the cancer out of her. Because here's the thing: is if in fact she has cancer in her and the chemotherapy doesn't work, then it is incurable. The oncologist indicated that when we went to see him, the medical oncologist, and then Anita's primary care doctor confirmed that that's the case, that there's no cure for this cancer if it's still in fact in her. And so we're really asking for God's prayers. We are attempting something. She's when she goes in for the fasting, she goes in a fasted state. When she goes in for chemotherapy, she goes in a fasted state, because there have been some tests done on lab rats and mice where when the chemotherapy was administered during fasting and during a fasting state, that it was 100% effective in killing this cancer. And so there's no studies been done on people to show that, but our doctor, Anita's oncologist, is interested in kind of tracking and seeing what will happen with that. So keep us in prayer, if you will, for that. On to tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday, Father's Day. And I'm not going to be specifically preaching a message at Father's Day. We do have gifts for those fathers who come to church tomorrow. My wife and daughter-in-law made them and created those things. And actually, they and another lady of the church were involved in putting together these gifts. And I think they'll enjoy them. But tomorrow, Sunday school is going to be out of Jude chapter 1, verse 24, and I'm going to call it the title, and nothing's settled yet because I'll be doing that and then this afternoon, but it'll be something like falling but faultless. I'm sorry, not falling but faultless. God can keep us from falling and present us to himself faultless in his presence. And then the morning message will very likely be out of the book of Jeremiah. Once again, not completely settled yet, but it'll be something like leap without looking. And I was thinking about, we walk by faith and not by sight. And that is a truth, that we do live by faith. And some people actually criticize and condemn Christians because, well, everything we do is faith. And so they'll say, well, believing the Bible is faith, and going to church is faith. And we have no faith. We've got no science behind what we believe, because it's all faith. And that's not entirely true. What is by faith is our future. We believe that because of what Christ did, we have an eternal future with him. And that's by faith, because no one has seen it. But we don't believe creation by faith. The same science that the evolutionist uses to support their theory of evolution is equally supportive of the creation model that we find in the Bible. It's just a matter of which worldview you take when you approach the evidence. But it's the same evidence that would be used both ways. It's just a matter of how you look at that evidence. We don't believe in creation by faith. We actually believe in creation by evidence. We have some evidence to back up we don't believe the Bible specifically by faith, because the Bible is an evidence-based book. All the science that's in the Bible is true. The Bible has a huge portion of the Bible originally was written as prophecy, and that prophecy has been fulfilled. And so since that prophecy has been fulfilled and been fulfilled 100% true, then we have every reason to, by faith, believe that the prophecies that have not yet been fulfilled will be fulfilled. So we have evidence to back up the promises. And then all of that is supported by something that is 100% backed up, and that is the resurrection of Lord Jesus Christ. There were witnesses, credible witnesses, many witnesses to the resurrection of Jesus. Jesus lived, Jesus died, and Jesus did, in fact, rise again from the grave. Paul asserted that Jesus was alive. And I double dog dare any atheist, agnostic, evolutionist to prove that Jesus is still in the grave. People have been trying to find evidence of his death for 2,000 years, and there is no evidence of that Jesus is still in the grave. His resurrection is demonstrable. It is supported by witnesses. Any kind of legal system would count their witness as testimony that in fact he is still alive. And so the burden of proof is on the evolutionist. The burden of proof is on the atheist. The burden of proof is on the agnostic. If Jesus didn't raise again from the grave, prove it. On the other hand, because Jesus rose from the grave, everything in the Bible is supported by, bolstered by his resurrection, and every promise for the future is supported by and bolstered by his resurrection. So it isn't only by faith. We do have some evidence. We do have some sight. We've got something firm, something true to hold on to. Jesus rose from the grave, and that means that everything else that the Bible teaches is true. So when I say that Jeremiah, this idea that Jeremiah, the message leap without looking, Jeremiah was told that he was to preach his message and not look in the eyes of his hearers, but instead just preach the word of God to them, preach the message that God gave, regardless of how people responded, and leap without looking. And that is exactly what a preacher ought to be doing. Give you a couple of things I've been working on here lately. So because of my wife's cancer, I put together some new things on teespring.com. On my site page there, some different t-shirts and other things. Some folks have been kind enough to buy some of those things, and thank the Lord for that. All of the extra expenses that at least for this year appear to us to have now been met, and we're very, very thankful for that. But we do still encourage people, if you'd like to buy t-shirts or other material that I put on teespring.com. I've also been working on my Amazon, my author page, my books on Amazon. I've added some books that were on only on lulu.com. I've now put them on Amazon. I've taken some of them that were just electronic books, and I've made them paperback as well. So I've been able to worked on some better Amazon book descriptions. I've also put some better keyword searches and some better categories in the Amazon books. And then I've also was able to categorize or to divide and set up my books organize them into different series. And so there is a Bible study series, and there's a Bible sermon series, and there is a Baptist study series, and there's a discipleship series. That I've categorized all of my books, or almost all of them, into those sections. Then there are also those books that are my devotional books, and I actually could, I guess, make a series of that, call them my devotional series. Haven't done that yet, but been working on all of those things. I was talking to my oldest son, Bohannon, this morning, maybe about when I do my podcast and my Daily Visit with God podcast, I end it by saying, "Thanks for listening. Let's have coffee." And so Bohannon this morning said, "Hey, what if we looked for a local coffee roaster, and if we made a special blend of coffee that just was called Let's Have Coffee?" And we're going to be working on that, see what we can put on with that. So I'm getting ready now to get busy with my final details, get things ready for Sunday's services tomorrow. Happy Father's Day. I'll look forward to seeing those of you that see this in church. I'll look forward to seeing you in church. Those that live in other places or that watch this after Father's Day, I just want to say happy Father's Day to you, and God bless you.